This is an interesting truck.
Yes.
It's history.
Yes.
It's like a 911, a Corvette, or a Mustang.
Okay, all right. I kind of see where you're going. Keep going.
It has the same awe and reverence that these other cars that I've named do. It has such history. It started in 1951. The first Toyota BJ was the first vehicle to reach the 6th station up to the Mount Fuji Trail. Meaning it was good at off-road.
Yeah.
But there's such reverence when you say Land Cruiser among Land Cruiser enthusiasts. They say, oh.
Absolutely.
Oh, Land Cruiser. Oh,
yes.
It's the zombie apocalypse vehicle.
Yes.
If you're a militant group, you can just screw a machine gun to the roof and, you're good to go. But
that's
there's
more the pickup form, but still, I take
such
the point.
reverence
Yeah.
when you say Toyota Land Cruiser.
You're watching Everyday Driver. We make a TV show, podcast, and YouTube channels dedicated to great cars, driving adventures, and helping you find a car you'll love. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing.
We're dealing with one of those, like you mentioned already, cult vehicles. And if
It
you
is.
like these
It
things,
is.
you don't just like them. There are museums dedicated to just Land Cruisers. One of them is right here in Utah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact.
It's amazing.
That's a great point.
This has been around a long time. This is a 2020, and this body style, the 200, has been around since 2008. My
been a
father-in-law
while.
had the prior verton, the 100, and I drove that thing
that's
a ton.
right.
He had it.
That's
he
right, I forgot
loved
about that, the
thing,
Green
and he
Beast.
sold it. It was
That's
in
right.
terrible shape, and because it was a Land Cruiser, it sold for twice what any other car in that shape would have been worth. These things have
Interesting.
gravitas and major off-road cred.
It holds its value
Yeah,
like
big time.
almost
Big
no
time.
other
Yes.
truck or car.
Yes.
And I will start everything by saying I like it. I do.
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
like it because it's honest. It's a body-on-frame
Okay.
truck.
Yeah,
It drives like a truck. It feels like a truck. It's promoted as a truck. Now, as you know from the history, Land Cruiser as the name, the designation, kind of split off. First into the FJ40, and then the Land Cruiser as a more comfortable, luxurious, more of a people hauler kind of truck.
Yeah.
And so I come to this thinking I'm not a huge fan of the off-road ride in general on a smooth highway like this.
Certainly, yeah.
And you can feel it. You can feel the entire weight of the truck, and it's heavy.
5,800 pounds. This is not
Yeah.
light. Yeah,
You
for
can
sure.
feel it
Yeah.
behind suspension motions, and you think, oh, that's every bit of body weight. That's
Yeah,
the
that's a lot
full
there.
body
Yeah.
jab.
That's a good description. I
Rather
like
than
that.
just
Yep.
a tap. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
totally.
don't really
Absolutely.
feel it on
you
some
do
cars.
feel the weight of this car as it moves around on its suspension.
You
and
do.
you can also tell that it has off-road capability because the suspension isn't quite right for a normal road.
Well, here's the
You
deal
know?
about the suspension. It does have Toyota's kinetic dynamic suspension system, KDSS, all
Yes.
right? So I looked. I found it's only on the front of this Land Cruiser because the rear is a solid rear axle, so it can tow 8,100 pounds,
Yep,
and so it can
yep.
tow actually a lot of weight. The front sway bar has a way of disconnecting that's not mechanical, and it is through this KDSS system, whereas some companies like Jeep, they actually do a mechanical disconnect to get the better articulation. But for this, they wanted some good on-road, smooth pavement driving, which I feel, as a matter of fact, and it locks that front sway bar into place. The reason I say all this is because of the cost of this truck.
I was waiting to see when we're going to get there because I hate to say it,
I'm
but the
crawling
elephant in
around.
the room is the cost of this.
Well, what I wanted to do was, because this is so expensive,
Yes.
it's $89,000, $89,125, almost $90,000.
For all intents and purposes, it's a $90,000 truck.
And I thought, okay, where's the money? This must be something special.
$90,000.
That's why I wanted to crawl around. And so, okay, this
Oh.
KDSS system, it's got that. Okay, but it's only on the front.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's got a decent interior,
Yeah.
and the materials feel nice, and I started touching things and thought,
Like we do.
where's the money?
Yes.
Where's the money? Oh, well,
Yes.
there is a cool box.
There's a cool box.
Hey,
Yay,
cool
cool box. Yeah.
But as I've inspected the car more and more, I opened the hood, I opened the doors, I like the rear tailgate, I like the actual tailgate where
Sure.
it folds
Yeah,
down.
that's cool, yeah.
There's a lot of cool features, and I do like it, but I'm trying to find the money.
You're trying
I'm
to find
to find
$90,000. Yes.
why this is
Yes.
almost $90,000.
Yeah. That.
KDSS in action, we've got a corner.
It feels like a big truck. Look, it does fine, but it feels like a big truck. It feels
It's
like
actually
exactly like what it is.
fairly flat for what it is. I have to caveat it a lot.
Well, I mean, it's a big boat of
It
a
is.
body-on-frame truck,
But you
but
know
you
what?
don't expect them to handle well.
I
honestly.
don't,
Yeah.
and for as much and the way as this is going to be driven, even though there is reverence associated with the off-road capability of this,
Yes.
this is not going to really be driven
You're right.
other than a flat road, freeway, go to the movies, go get groceries,
Yeah.
pick up the kids. This is how this car will be used. So the money isn't there from a style or flash or look at me perspective.
True.
Okay, Toyota, off-roader, good, solid
Yep.
choice, works well, runs.
Let me stop you there real quick.
So where's the money?
Agreed, because this has the same 5.7 liter engine that Toyota has had for a long time. That is 380 horsepower, like 400 pound-feet of torque. It's in the Tundra. It's in other things of Toyota's product. It is a workhorse engine for them. We know that will be reliable.
And it's excellent,
We
and
know
it's powerful.
totally
and great.
We know this, since it's been made since '08 and it's a Toyota product, will continue to run. But the Tundra is like 50. But the problem is this is 85 to touch one.
Yeah, now
And this just happens to be 90.
They did add $2,200 in the rear seat entertainment, but for $2,200, you can buy all 5 of your passengers an iPad.
Yes, you could have iPads for everyone, and now you have even more selection. And Toyota's not alone in this. I'm surprised that so many manufacturers are continuing to offer rear seat entertainment in a world where you can get an iPad. Now, the argument is, I have really little kids that don't want to hold something. I kind of get it.
Fair enough.
But
duct tape saves the world. Can we not just figure something out? Rubber bands and duct tape.
You buy mounts. Covercraft's
Squish
got
them
a
up.
whole mount that goes in the back of
They
seats
do,
with a whole
as a matter
things
of
for
fact.
it. You can save yourself a lot of money
Thank you.
and just update your iPads every year for the next few years. I don't get it.
If it's not style and it's not design, then it must be the mechanicals. Well, this has similar mechanicals to a lot of its competitors as far as capability. Now, it is at the top echelon of off-road capability. I admit that.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
excellent.
Yeah.
And it should be for $85,000, $89 in this
Absolutely,
case.
yes.
Let's take the rear seat entertainment out and just call it $86. But then I keep looking for the money. I'm crawling around this thing.
Yeah.
And I still don't have an answer. It drives fine. It's heavy. 25-gallon gas tank.
I mean, I'm going to drive it, but 90 grand.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. And I haven't yet. You know when people get into your car and they think, ooh, this must have been expensive. They don't do that in your Land Cruiser. It's just a truck.
It's much more of a utilitarian feel. I agree with that.
It's
Yes.
nice. Don't
It's
get me wrong.
very, it is
It
nice.
feels
It
well
is nice.
made.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes. Agreed with all of that.
But I'm looking around. I'm going through the list of features. I'm thinking, okay, a lot of cars have that. They can do off-road. They've got space, 7 seats, leather, entertainment.
Yeah.
All the electronic aids,
Yeah.
all the safety stuff. Big, heavy, safe, fun, road trippy. And again, I like it. I like it a lot.
Supremely capable, but that's an awful lot of money. The thing I am most surprised by, as I think about it. Well, hang on. Let's talk style real quick. This is kind of blocky, but then they've done weird things. Like this is one of the most scalloped hoods of anything I've been in.
I love that
Truck,
you noticed that.
Car, whatever.
Yeah.
The first time I sat down here, I was trying to figure out where are the edges of the hood because it's got so many rolls on it. I'm like, I haven't even seen this in sports cars. But yet it is still ultimately just a big blocky shape.
There's a
which
lot
is
of
really
visual
interesting.
interest
Yes,
that you're
agreed.
noting.
Agreed,
And
yeah,
it
yeah,
keeps your eye entertained as you move around the brick-like shape that is not aerodynamic.
Yes, this is true.
But again, the trade-offs are body on frame, big towing, lots of space, 7 passengers. I like how the seats fold at the very back.
That tailgate is very Range Rover-like, but it's very usable. Also, the way those seats fold to the sides, that's a Land Cruiser thing. They've done that
It's
for
totally a
a long,
thing.
long time.
Which
It's
is
one of their
cool.
cool, and it is cool. And I agree with you. The materials in here are very nice for 60 grand. The problem is,
I'll give you 60.
I
was
agree,
thinking 50,
agree. 60,
but I'll give you
65.
60.
I was expecting, the biggest surprise in that price was that $90,000 Land Cruiser would be available for 65.
Yeah.
And this is where my problem comes in because again, we've already talked about the dynamics. I'm bouncing on a road that's bad. That's not a surprise. It's body on frame. I'm not going to hoot it into this corner because that's
No.
not why you buy this.
No.
You buy it for off-road capability, for family hauling. I get it. But the problem with that is 2 competitors I can think of. The GMC Yukon, which by
Okay.
the way is already more featured out than the Chevy equivalent. Okay? It's the Yukon Denali, which is the upper trim,
Okay.
spec'd with everything this has,
You went shopping.
is 75.
Ooh. Bit of body roll
75.
there.
Yes, lots.
Come on, suspension system.
Yeah.
Flatten us out.
And that $75,000 Denali was the bigger GM engine, the 6.2 liter, which actually has more power than this.
Okay.
So I checked a lot of boxes. I went big on the Denali. I didn't do the XL because I wanted to have the same size as this. But that's 10 grand plus cheaper than this is for essentially the same capability. Now you could argue this will have more off-road capability.
Okay, let's argue that. let's say you buy this and you pay more because you get the premier off-road capability.
Except then you have a Range Rover problem. Because I looked up Range Rover too.
Yeah.
The top of the Heat Range Rover, the actual Range Rover, starts at 90 and goes up. Now I know you can trick those out to well over 6 figures. I get it.
You can.
So then I went down to the one that most automotive journalists discuss as their favorite, the Sport. Range Rover Sport, which starts at about 70 grand.
Right.
And I checked every box to make it equivalent to this, and still a Range Rover. It was 88.
Audi Q8s are 88,000.
So
that is a premier high-end luxury. It's not an off-road, but
now
I like your Land Rover example.
One of you is saying, yes, but Toyota will just run. I get it.
Yeah.
But you're getting into really expensive cars at 88, 90 grand. And if you're buying new, I submit this to you, if you're buying new, you're relying on the warranty anyway, and you're not going to keep it long enough that out of warranty it's going to matter.
At least for Range
Rover,
Rover,
new buyer,
that'll happen.
A new buyer is going to buy a $90,000 SUV, and in 2 or 3 years, they're going to get another one.
And this one, all right, I see it. Because of the name, because of your love for Land Cruisers, you would keep this. This would be the, I'm all in, I'm going to keep this until my son and daughter grows up, starts driving, and family memories. That does exist with Land Cruisers.
Yeah.
More so than other trucks.
Later. I'm going to put it in my museum.
I guess so, yeah. I could see it being the family truckster, bombing around.
Yeah.
Towing whatever.
You could go wherever you wanted. You really could.
It will be great.
You really could, yes.
But then there's the other cars, and I can't find the money.
If what you're wanting to do is haul family in luxury, and you're not going to off-road, then kind of the party piece of this, of reliable off-road, is kind of irrelevant. Would you rather be in a Range Rover?
Well,
would you do a Yukon XL and get more space? This is a tough spot for this to be in because I like it, but I feel like, again, back to it being around since 08, it's been surpassed, and now I think it is, that 90 grand is trading on the history more than it is trading on what you got for your money.
If you're throwing things at the screen, remind us about Lexus. I will say the Lexus LX570, upon which this is also based,
which we recently drove as well,
is $1,000 less.
Less money.
And that is not positioned to be the premier off-road vehicle.
No.
It's Lexified.
Yes.
It's designed to just do the on-road thing, so it actually drives differently. And that's why I like this better, because it's honest. It's a truck, it's a 4x4.
That's a great point.
And it likes and enjoys doing the rough off-road thing. I'm wondering what future Land Cruisers will be like, because the nameplate is never going away.
True.
Ever.
Oh, absolutely true. Yeah.
It's like 911s, Mustangs, and Corvettes.
Yeah.
The nameplate will never go away.
Yeah.
So they will always be premier and expensive and should do the off-road things. But then there's always going to be the competitors.
Yes. And I think that almost everything this does, with the exception of name cachet and serious off-roading, you should have got the Highlander. I actually wonder if Toyota kind of knows that, which is why you can't get this down market. You just go way up to 85 to start, to get it away from the Highlander. I think that's why this survives. I think if they had it in a lower spec version, we'd still wonder where the money went, and it would overlap the Highlander, which has just come out of a refresh and is trying to compete with the best in that class, which is not the body-on-frame. That's the unibody world.
Right.
You trick those out, you're going to be 55 or so.
And if you don't need the towing capacity or off-road capacity that this has, that'll work fine.
I'll go you another one. This reminds me of the traditional serious off-roaders as far as feel. The Wranglers of the world, good luck getting a Wrangler past 65 grand. The Defender from Range Rover starts at 50, which means loaded out, that's going to be 75. Okay? That's what this is actually targeted as far as what it has for on-road dynamics and what it gives you as far as a perception of what I'm going to do with this. It's my family, go get the kids, but I really like to off-road. But you're saving money in those, and they have history too. If this was 65, I'd be saying, yeah, well done, Toyota. This is good. But it's a whole car worth more than that.
What if they did? What if Toyota did bring the price down, left everything else as it is? The question is, would they sell more? Would it cannibalize sales of the things they don't want you to be sold?
Yeah.
I'm asking, but you'd probably sell more brand new. There is that.
I have to agree with that. I do like your point. This is honest and straightforward for what it is. I just think it has one of those prices that it hides from mom and dad. Like, yeah, I really do cost that much.